Harper Audio and HarperCollins presents Warriors, Super Edition, Bluestars Prophecy by Aaron Hunter.
For the longest time, he couldn't find a
HarperCollins ebooks.
He ended up having to move back home to another state. He was living with his mother. He's in his 50s. He said, I never dreamed I'd be here at my age. I don't know what happened.
This is only the prologue.
I told him what I'm telling you. You came in.
What do we do if we see one? Report it?
It's not a surprise to God.
You're supposed to tell them that
they're
they're
around
around
here. Depends on what you do. If you get bitter, complain, talk about how bad, stimulate.
Prologue.
Blue
Bluestars getting to a halt at the top of the slope. The stench of dogs at her throat.
I'm not a gardener.
Below the ferns shook as dark shapes swarmed through the gully. Fireheart's orange pelt flashed like flame through the greenery. He was keeping a good distance between himself and the pack, but the lead dog was breaking away and closing on fast on the ThunderClan deputy. No, not that one. You cannot use him as prey. Bluestar flung herself down the slope, gulping air, muscles burning. She weaved around the trees, her paws skidding on the leafy forest floor. She hurled herself through a swath of ferns, running blind as the leaves whipped her face. The gorge was close. She could hear the river crashing between the sheer gray walls. Would Fireheart really be able to lure the dog pack over the edge? What if the pack leader had caught him first? She erupted from the bracken and scrambled to a stop in a clearing at the edge of the cliff. Leaves sprayed into the chasm. Her paws slipped and slid. Oh, Starkling, no! Fireheart was dangling from the glistening jaws of a huge dog. The ThunderClan deputy struggled, spinning with fury. The dog shook him, its eyes shining like triumph. But its clumsy paws were skidding dangerously close to the edge of the gorge. I will not let you destroy my clan! Bluestar roared. She flung herself at Fireheart's tormentor, slamming headfirst into its flank. The dog dropped Fireheart and spun around in surprise. Bluestar crouched and unsheathed her claws. Blood roared in her ears, but she felt no fear. She had not felt this alive for moons. She lashed out at the dog's muzzle, but her claws rent the empty air. The dog was sliding away from her. The ground beneath its hind legs was crumbling. Shards of stone showered down the deep face of the gorge as the dog's paws scrambled to get a grip. But its burnt claws were slithering on the leaf-drawn stone forest floor. As its haunches dragged its hindlings backward over the cliff, the pack thundered closer. Bluestar, Fireheart warned. But Bluestar didn't take her eyes from the pack leader. She was locked in its panicked gaze. As dogs began to crash through the bracken behind her, the pack was upon them. Bluestar dug her claws into the strong, soft earth. As the air suddenly soared with fear, the lunging dogs had seen the gorge, and their howls turned to yelps as they skidded at its edge.
What's the cat doing?
Bluestar held her ground as a desperate yowl echoed down the chasm. The first dog had fallen. Its body thumped against the cliff, and there was a moment of quiet before she heard it splash into the roaring water below. Bluestar narrowed her eyes, still fixed on the pack leader. You should have never threatened ThunderClan. She hissed. Suddenly, the dog stretched its head forward and grasped her foreleg in its jaws. She felt the ground slide beneath her as the dog dragged her over the edge. Wind roared around her, blasting her pellet as she fell. She scrambled desperately against the cold, wet air and struggled free of the dog just a moment before she hit the water. The freezing river knocked the breath from her body. Blind, she struggled against the current by fighting her way toward air, heart gripped by panic. Goosefeather's prophecy burned in her mind. Water will destroy you. Her thick fur, heavy with water, dragged her down. The river tumbled all around her. She didn't know which way was up. Her lungs screamed for air. Terror scorched through her. She was going to drown there in the foaming waters of the gorge. Don't give up. Her mute sounded clearer, filming her through the roar of water. The father of her kits. was murmuring in her ears. It's like running through the forest. Let your paws do the work. Raise your chin and let the water carry you up. His voice seemed to lift her, calming her panic. When she found that her paws were churning steadily through the water, her heart tight with pain slowed as she straightened to raise her chin. Until at last, wind ripped her face, coughing and gagging, she snatched a gulp of air. That's the way, Elkhart whispered in her ear. His voice sounded so gentle, so welcoming. Perhaps she should just let the river sweep her away into the softness of his fur. Bluestars, swim. Head for the bank. Elkhart's meal is sharp now. Our kids are waiting. Our kids! Our kids! The thought of them hit her like a lightning bolt. You can't leave them without saying goodbye. Energy surged through Bluestars. She began to fight once more. The dark shape left-handed her, knocking her underwater again, but she struggled to the surface, spluttering as water filled her mouth and caught in her throat. The body of a dog tumbled past her and swept downstream. If a dog can't fight this current, how can I? The treetops blurred overhead as the river swirled her along. You can do it, Elkhart urged. Bluestar churned at the water. Her exhausted legs fell like sodden leaves, failing uselessly. Suddenly, teeth grasped her scalp. Was Elkhart going to drag her to safety? Bluestar blinked water from her eyes long enough to glimpse orange fur. Fireheart! The thunderclap deputy had gotten hold of her. Keep your head up, he growled through clenched jaws. Bluestar tried to help him, but her pelt was heavy and her paws were too tired to fight the way of water. Fireheart's teeth tore at her skirt as the water dragged her down. Then another body brushed hers. One of the dogs? More teeth bit her scalp. Paws clutched at her flanks, heaving her upward. When she felt the strong, gentle movement of cats around her, was Starkland carrying her to its hunting grounds? Barely conscious, she let herself be dragged through the water until pebbles scraped her flank, and she felt solid earth beneath her paws. Teeth heaved her up the gritty shore, laid her on the soft grass. Her chest felt as if it were packed with stones, making each breath a struggle. Her eyes stung, too filled with water to see. Bluestar? She recognized the mew of Misty. Stop, Gabby! She recognized the mew of Mistyfoot. What about Stonefur? Is he here too? We're both here, a strong paw pressed against her flank. Elkhart had been right. Their kids had been waiting for her. Bluestar fought to open her eyes. She could just make out the shape of Stonefur. His wide shoulders were silhouetted against the green canopy of trees, so much like his father. Mistyfoot stepped beside him, her shoulder felt clinging to her frame. Bluestar felt breath on her cheek. Is she okay? Came the voice of her daughter. Fire was listening in. Bluestar, it's Fireheart. No, you're alright now. You're safe. Bluestar hardly heard him. She was gazing at her kids. You saved me, she murmured. Shh, don't try to talk, Lucifer urged. But there's so much to say. Bluestar stretched her muzzle forward. I want to tell you something. I want you to forgive me for sending you away. She coughed, water bubbled at her lips as she forced herself to keep going. Elkhart promised Grateful would be a good mother to you. She was. Stonefur mewed flatly. Bluestar flinched. I owe her so much. She wished she had more breath to explain. Elkhart too for mentoring you so well. Why hadn't she had a way to tell them this before? Why hadn't I watched as you grew up and saw how much you had to give to a clan who adopted you? If I had made a different choice, you would have given all your strength to ThunderClan. She shuddered, struggling for air. Forgive me. She stared at her kids. Time seemed to halt as she watched Mistyfoot and Stonefur exchange an uncertain glance. Please forgive me. She suffered a lot of pain for her choice. Fireheart pleaded for her. Please forgive her. Stop it! Forgiveness would mean nothing if it had been dragged for them. She wild Fireheart to hold his tongue. We forgive. Mistyfoot bent her head and licked Bluestar's cheek. We forgive you, Bluestar. We forgive you, Stonefur echoed. Bluestar closed her eyes and her two kids began to lap at her drenched pelt. It was the first time she had shared tongues with them since the snowy day she had left them with Elkhart. There was no more need to cling to her last life. Firestar would kindle a new flame and blaze through the forest in her place. ThunderClan was safe. She closed her eyes and gave way to dizzying blackness.